hoping the road noise hasn't gotten too bad. I'll try and move before it does. Okay, passion fruit, doing well. Strawberry tower, very happy. We have some seedlings up here. Lots of kale and mustards. And part of that is not just because we like those as greens, which we do, probably not as much for how many we grow. Some pak choi in there. Cilantro. I'm going to plant them up front as ornamentals. Also because mustard is supposed to be a soil miner and help to bind up toxins in the soil, because I don't eat anything in the front. Dahlias. The dahlia that I never bought a white one, a green one, and here I have one. Which, you know, that happens sometimes. I've got some tomatoes that don't look like the type of tomato they're supposed to be, so I don't know. But yeah, everything over there is doing really well. Citrus, for the first time ever, I have fruit on all three of my oldest citrus. Bear's lime, I believe that's a Meyer lemon. We'll see when they finish up, I guess. And that is a Lisbon lemon. And these got left outside during a freeze and got seriously damaged. And that one I thought I was going to have to throw out because I thought it was completely dead, but I waited long enough and it actually came back from basically the roots. And at the time, I can't tell if it's one, because most are grown from grafts, not seed. And so I'm not sure if that's from the rootstock or from the graft. I think it's probably more likely from the rootstock. But they certainly look like Meyer lemons, so. And I don't know what else it would be. That one was grown from seed. It's less than happy. So a couple of peppers that were overwintered. Red pepper that I don't know the variety of. My friend gave me the seeds for. That is an Ashe County pimento. Right there, pimento. Got some eggplants in there. French lilac I finally divided up, so they seem okay so far. Gladiolus that have never flowered this year because I left them in pots. Probably way too tight, but I just didn't have time to get them in the ground. Hopefully they'll be happier next year. Greenhouse is finally getting used for greenhouse things, so a bunch of seeds I just started. Probably later than I should, but you know, it's never stopped me before. I'll just go to the effort and then see what happens. Celery, did divide up all of the celeries, repotted them. Need to move them back down. These guys, I'm pretty sure that's mostly cabbage in there, red cabbage. Some golden acre, more mustard to plant up front to hopefully clean the soil up. Because we live in an old neighborhood and there's definitely lead contamination in the soil, both from the paint in the houses and from when cars used to run by the road. We had a neighbor whose child had very high levels of lead in her blood, so anything I grow to eat, these are all in built-up raised beds. I don't even trust the soil that was more than 10 feet away from the house and not close to the road. So this is going to be the dedicated asparagus bed. She seems a little wild and out of control. I do have a couple of cauliflower in there that have been fighting through the summer. And with all of the rain that we had a bunch of new spears come up off the asparagus, so hopefully that means that they're getting settled in and happy. That one has been here for probably 4 years now. The rest of these are from this year. So hopefully that means that they're quite happy and they will make us mini asparagus spears in years to come. Pawpaw tree, I had to take a little more off the top. Had some dieback and it was just like too much water. The other pawpaw that I planted, I did poor little guy. See things peeking through the fence there. And then, yeah, we'll just have to see. But they're native. Hopefully it's going to be okay. And service berry, same thing, have a little bit of dieback on the ends. Dahlia is about to pop off here. About to have some dahlias. I see the kudzu coming through the fence. I need to come through and wisteria and get the kudzu and wisteria. Blackberries are all done. They've been done. Comfrey. They do seem to be growing pretty happily though, although I'm probably gonna have to hack them back to the ground. We might have to see what happens. We have cane borers on the raspberries, so I'm sure it'll be a problem for the blackberries as well. This black jewel raspberry that I bought at the end of the season that was mostly dead on sale, those are all from one little guy that's his first year in the ground. So I'm not sure if we're actually going to get fruit from it this year, but it's kind of wild. So we'll see. Lots of echinacea, blueberry, blue ray blueberry, blue jay blueberry, blue something. That's one I always forget. Sage, just fine that I moved. These are also cauliflower that I've spent all year trying to cauliflower, and we're no closer. I probably should have cut them down, but I'm very hard-headed. Big plants that are getting overshadowed by them. I figured they would be done. There's something, and so here's one that is done, and it's got multiple heads. I don't know if it's I'm just not giving them enough nitrogen or what it is. I feel like I keep having this issue with cauliflower. Maybe there's like some secret to cultivating them. Kales are very happy. Sorry, there's somebody washing a car across the street with a dull roar. Ground cherries are almost done. It was my only plant this year. Oh, this little rose is getting like sort of swallowed up by the kale. And I just cut back the oregano and the thyme. It spilled over into the yard. Had a little bit of dieback too, so it was good all the way around. That's actually one kale plant that's got multiple heads on it, basically. Okay, looks like we had something die there. I don't know what happened. And it's hyssop, and that's a paprika pepper. I have some volunteer zinnias from last year. And here's where I start stuffing things into the yard. I'm trying to get through them and not forget anybody. I've got some okra coming up here. There's a lavender we put in. I think our artichoke finally, oh no, it's still in there. It's in between. It almost died and then it came back and now it's looking peaky again. This is another pepper that I overwintered. And it looks, there must be plenty of nitrogen here because it looks totally lush and happy. It's not made that many pepper. Oh, it's got one ginormous pepper. I guess I'll come back and get that so it can make more peppers. It looks like it's just starting to try here. The rest of these guys, the big greens, are Brussels sprouts. So it's a red rhubarb, and those are Long Island. All of my first crop of beans died, so I started a second crop, and they did better. I have a squash, a butternut, and I've got my first fruits happening now. Very exciting. I thought I was going to get none. I still might not get none, or might get none. We'll see what happens. Lots of beans. I think these are mostly burgundy bush beans. So burgundy potted bean. This guy right here has been growing like crazy. It keeps pulling over the trellis, and I finally just given up and just can't use that particular walkway. Go around it. And I don't remember which one it is, and it's made plenty of flowers, but I really haven't seen any beans on it yet. So again, we'll see. It's chaos gardening at its finest. Brussels sprouts that, again, I probably should have let them go. I mean, like, how, I mean, it's, the top of it looks real healthy. I see no Brussels. I mean, they're starting to form, but goodness gracious, y'all, come on. Okra. Sad little Brussels sprout. More beans. And I want to say those are like maybe the Blauhildes. I've got labels on them somewhere. And more bush beans. Cherokee wax, maybe. It's one of those where I'm not all that fussed once I get them in the ground. I'm like, whatever happens, happens. It is nice to know what the varieties are, but this year has not been that kind of year. Another volunteer zinnia. And then we're here in, oh god, echinacea creeping over, looks like. Rhubarb alley. Got several rhubarbs, and they were rescued from the front yard. There's another view of that black raspberry. Also, the hardy kiwi that it's trying to bury, but it seems to be doing okay. Have lots of critters here, so it looks like we've had some damage on the ends on it, from squirrels or birds or whatever. And those were broccolis, I believe. That's the broccoli. I put my extra asparagus crowns in the ground over here, so I may have additional asparagus. We'll see what happens with that too. A volunteer bunching onion. So we've been almost, I've used some of my cabbages. I still have some. My outer leaves are looking pretty chewed up, but inners are fine. I still have a couple of carrots in the ground here, but I probably need to figure out how to use them soon. Some of them are starting to get big. There's definitely more road noise peppers. These guys, I believe that one might be a purple pepper, and then that one, see, I might be mistaken. I think those two might be purple peppers, and then I know these guys are poblanos, definitely because they got the poblano on them, but also the way they grow, they're very large, kind of airy plants. Let's see here, shishito peppers. These are very prolific. Baby cabbage. It's a volunteer borage. Got tons of borage happening this year. And these, well, see, I should have probably taken one out. Pardon. But I didn't. Hard-headed. Lots of shishito peppers. Poblanos. Pimento. Ashe County pimento. And another one. And those guys, like that plant looks okay. She's making some fruit. That one, bless it. And this one, bless it, it's got one, and sorry, it's got a hole in it. I guess I'll come back and get that too. Banana peppers, enormous. But yeah, things have gotten a little wild and woolly and out of control. Once again, lots of borage kind of taken over the bed. Alright, and I feel like I'm going to come back and pull up most of this evening primrose. Kind of the same as the front, there's just way too much of it, it goes so hard. Fig tree finally has made a handful of figs. And let's see, I walked in on the back side of the tomatoes. And this has been kind of a weird year for the tomatoes. We did really good at first, and then it was really hot and they just weren't doing anything, and we had tons of rain, and I don't know if it was too much, so they've started putting out a bunch of tomatoes. But this is like say this is a creme down here. I believe I had 2 creme and 2 green zebra. Maybe 3 creme, 2 green zebra. And that's supposed to be a green zebra, which it doesn't look like at all. The ones I had in the past, they have green shoulders and they're red on the bottom. And I've got, so I don't know if that gets a seed mix up. They're from a packet, local seed company. Legit seed company. And there's my black cherries, which are wonderful. And they've overtopped the trellis. I was doing the single leader method. Oh, hi. There's a cicada there. Hi, friend. I'll just let you be hanging upside down. I'll come back and take a picture of it for my daughter who loves cicadas. And yeah, it's grown all the way down to the ground. And then this one is also another indeterminate, and I believe that's a creme. So a ton of smaller tomatoes, which I suppose I probably early stages could have picked off some blooms to let it make a couple of bigger tomatoes, but it didn't. My determinants are almost done. So Roma there. That Roma, super sickly, I'm gonna guess because of the giant sunflower. I finally cut the heads off of. I need to cut the stalk down too. But I'm gonna guess maybe that was just taking all the nutrients because that's the only one that looks bad. Little lavender hanging in there, guy. You'll have some space and not too long. Black plums are split out into the yard. We let it. So once these stakes and things fall over, there's almost nothing to be done. They're just gonna be there. Some maters falling off, some more aromas, and this one is a black plum. It's a little more smaller tomato, a little more orange. These are both paste tomatoes. And the fig, tomatoes growing into the fig, but we're getting close to having a little bit of fruit. I've gotten 2 off of it so far, which is better than any year prior, so that's exciting. Hardy kiwi that's been growing in fits and starts. It's supposed to be very fast growing, so I think that's probably good. That it's not overtaking the whole backyard now. Blackberry. Another blackberry mixed in with jasmine. It's getting real loud. I need to hurry up. Pawpaw. It's 3 years in the ground. Elderberries, 4 years in the ground. The raspberry patch that I keep saying to myself I'm gonna put up some kind of support so next year they don't flop over like this. And then they don't. Here comes the motorcycles. Oh, I knew it was gonna happen. It's a nice day for the first time in a long time. Blueberry, pink lemonade blueberry. Guys, and then around the peach tree, doing fine. No peaches. I had like 2, and they got disappeared on me. I say raccoons and pink lady apple. The end.